I love getting told that whenever we talk about not things that the UK is doing in regards to uh, looking at how it can improve Brexit, but when we see the EU talk about Brexit and what it would like to do and how it would like to work closer with the EU, I am told by numerous people, never going to happen. You are just a nonsense fantasist talking about nothing. And yet we have quoted diplomats, people in the EU itself. The list goes on of the videos that I've made just of that in the past couple of weeks. And as I always said, when we get a new government, things are going to fundamentally change. There was a piece recently in the Malta Times which expressly pretty much said this as well. It's time to deal with our Brexit post PTSD. That not only is there now a new government in with Labour and Keir Starmer in charge, where he is now willing to engage with the EU and talk with the EU and not be as like bombastic, that there are now opportunities for us to work together on a numerous things. And bear in mind, that is coming from Malta. So I don't know, maybe there are a couple of people out there that also need to deal with their Brexit post PTSD, but I'm talking about something else that pretty much went unregarded as well. And that is the idea that Germany is now pushing to do a Brexit mega deal. Yes, I am saying that right. Germany wants a mega deal. So, let's read more about this. But before we do go into that, please do remember to click on the Patreon page, the Buy Me a Coffee link, the where you can buy me a coffee, the YouTube thank you button, and of course down below as well as the Pony Club as well. And do remember to click on like, share, and subscribe. And of course, do feel free. I am telling somewhat madman gibbering in the corner, even though we are once again quoting Germany diplomatic sources. So do feel to tell me how wrong I am in the comments. But hey, we'll see. So as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel that way. So let's crack on into this. This comes from Politico with the title of Germany Wants a Brexit Mega Deal. So let's go on into this. So Keir Starmer has said that he wants a broad new security agreement with the EU, and it could end up being very broad indeed. Berlin wants to turn the British Prime Minister's proposed security pact into a venerable Brexit mega deal, which would encompass everything from agricultural rules to the Erasmus student exchange program. And yet, constantly told, oh, Europe wants nothing to do with the UK. Yeah. What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? There's cooperation everywhere. So we continue with this. So we have very much now welcomed the initiative for a security pact. It is not only, of course, security, it is now broader. So I would call it a security and cooperation agreement between the UK and the European Union. Germany's ambassador to the UK, Maguel Belga, told Politico. We have a headline, which is security and cooperation. And beneath that, we think that we should look for areas in which they are now common interest. Countries working together in common interest. That's only like the main principle of the EU. Imagine your shock when you hear that. Anyway, Starmer has pledged a Brexit reset with the EU after very turbulent relations under his conservative predecessors. The British Prime Minister also wants closer cooperation on security, but also tighten our economic ties in areas like agricultural, chemicals, and professional qualifications. Under Berlin's proposals, such aspirations would be bundled together under a single headline of a security and cooperation agreement and packaged with EU priorities like the improved youth mobility. Other EU members who would also need to agree with the idea to go forward might chime in with their own ideas, such as improved access to UK fishing waters. Again, I can see that being done. We've said it before. Why would you sacrifice the entire UK economy or the opportunity to improve the UK economy for basically an industry that generates less GDP than Harrods? And not only that, but in those improved access to fishing waters, maybe in some way we could maybe rejoin the common fisheries policy, and maybe fishermen could then regain access to European markets. I don't know if they could or not, but hey, new possibilities, new horizons, and hey, as always, if you don't ask, you don't get. So I think under this new dawn, this new reset we're getting, anything I do believe is now being very, very much possible. And I've always maintained this. Talks and cooperations, there are now opportunities, a lot of opportunities to do this. This has always been my stance, always been my, my position. And yet I get hurled abuse at constantly for saying that. And yet here we have German German ambassador to the UK saying this stuff. It's like I'm fed up of being proved right. I'm fed up of being proved right in this. Oh, anyway, the name of the proposed deal does suggest that the ambassador recalls the existing trade and cooperation agreement signed under Boris Johnson. The EU member countries, including Germany, do cringe at the thought of reopening the existing accord, putting together putting together after years of sometimes even painful discussions. But they are now keen to deepen cooperation with Britain's new government, and a security and cooperation agreement might be one way to do it. So, German mega deal, anyone? So yeah, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens with this. But we already know that Starmer has pretty much announced that he wants to sort of start these sort of negotiations sort of early next year. I think that's a perfect time to do it. I think you're probably going to see beginning discussions, I think, and sort of I think British diplomats sort of starting discussions, I think, with their European counterparts on this. And I think something on this you can then very much build on. I really do believe this is a really good opportunity. I would say I'm also, I don't know, if I were to say where I was coming from on this, I'd say I'm becoming very much an internationalist on this. That countries working together, cooperating together can be for the global good. And I think you will see this. Is it going to be as good as like full EU membership? No, I don't think so. But bear in mind, you've got countries like Switzerland, you've got countries like Norway, Liechtenstein, etc., who have all these, side deals for days, but not technically in the EU, but they've agreed these for years. Currently now, Switzerland is in the process of talking about new like deals and stuff with the EU. So who knows? Maybe we're gonna end up like Switzerland with like all these sort of different deals. And yeah, it might not end up as being as good as the EU, But as I've always said and maintained, eventually you will come to the point where we go, well, we've got all these deals with Europe and the EU, and that's as best as it is ever going to be. Should we just go back into the EU? And I've been very, very much on the maintaining of this line that I think that is the direction I think we're going to go. I really do think so. I generally think that is the direction that Labour is headed for, to say we are going to try and, you know, improve things as best as we can, but even we know there is like a definitive line that, you know, we can't go past because we'd have to sort of, you know, be an EU member to sort of, you know, achieve, you know, the rest of the stuff that we want to do. So we'll get there, get all these deals done, and then go back to the British public and go, this is Brexit. Like, this is as best as it is ever going to be, guys. Are you sure you still really want to continue with this? But just know, like, this is it. This is as best as it is ever going to be. I think that's what happens. I generally think that's what happens. It seems to be the direction of travel we are going in. So let me know what you think down below. But I am excited for this. I am genuinely excited for some of these talks. And like I say, we're probably seeing these talks, as we've heard, probably kicking off certainly next year. Maybe we'll hear some talk about this before as well going into next year. But I think there's more than enough optimism, I think, going into these talks. I think there is more than enough optimism going into these talks. So, hey, that is, I think, very, very good indeed. So, as always, let me know what you think down below. And of course, don't forget to hit the like and share button. And of course, see you all next time.